Well, hello. I don't have my tripod, so I'm just going to lay this thing in the center of the seat. We won't do this. I don't like the way it presents. But I need to continue talking to you about this thing. At the end of the tape yesterday, we shifted from whatever it was that we were talking to Jesus. The Jesus that you don't know. The Jesus that you need to know. Because he did a really good job. Look at yourself. You know, if you're a Christian, all the wonder that is yours, it was given to you by the Christ. Is, you know, they sing songs, and some really beautiful ones too. The hymns. And I remember in one area where I lived, I had a neighbor, and he would sit and play his guitar and sing love songs to Jesus. Powerful stuff. I thought he was doing good. You know, it doesn't matter who you're singing to. You understand? It's just that you're singing. God is in the song. He's there in silence too, but more in the song. Song lets him out. Silence keeps him contained. You know, all you monks sitting in some monastery someplace, get up off your ass. Come out into the world. We need your energy. Your Abbey Master doesn't need it. He's already home. People will come, they want to see it. Make it a part of history. And come out into the world and help me save the damn thing. You see, everybody seems to want to be tolerant. And say, oh, it's been forever. Men and women, very often under the true spirit and motivation of what brings them into these cloistered environments, come and surrender their life to a withdrawn existence away from the world at large. And of course, everything's easier there, right? If you divorce yourself from material things, well, then you don't have any wants or needs that are associated with the outside world. If you're successful in quelling and quieting your sexual urges, and that almost never works, you might find peace and quiet and tranquility. Now get up off your ass and take it out to the world. See, that's the problem. That's why you guys stay there, because you can't maintain it when you're outside. Make that okay, because it'll come back to you. It's kind of a shock, culture shock, when you come out of a cloistered environment to go into the world at large. But you can do that. And then, you know, there was a great movie called, great TV show called Kung Fu. Oh, I do the actor injustice. I can't remember. Carradine? Maybe Keith Carradine? I think it was Keith Carradine. If it wasn't, I apologize. And Mr. Carradine, you get an extra kudu. But the idea was he was a half-caste kid dumped off somewhere in China. He sits out in front of this monastery long enough to where they bring him in. And then he kills a prince who killed his master teacher, so he has to run to America to save his life. And then these are episodes in his life and how this enlightened master teacher slides through the world making it better. He's not sitting on his ass in the monastery, because that's not making it better. You've already got that energy. And if you're truly an enlightened being, get out where you belong. Helping the rest of the world figure it out. They need to be able to touch you. They should not have to. That's why I'm doing this. You should not have to come to me. This is the time when God has given us a vehicle by which a guy like me driving a car can talk to the world. So if you're a nun, maybe even if you're a priest, you guys deserve to get laid, you know. There are some places where Catholic priests are allowed to get to have, you know, relationships. Obviously, I think they're looking to have a wife, not anything that's filled with more energy than that. Not that, you know, having a husband and a wife hasn't got a lot of energy in it, but back to this sexual stuff. I remember I was, I don't know what the party was. I was in the Marine Corps at the time. And it's a staff NCO party. Whatever that means. So a lot of guys were there with their wives. My wife didn't drink. So I was only there for a pop-in. And this, I got to talking to this one couple, and I don't know, it got around to what a wonderful lover her husband was, and how she couldn't imagine it being any better than it was. And I said, really? I told you I'm kind of a dick. I said, so what I'm hearing you clearly is to say that there's nothing that you need or would want that would require more energy than your husband himself could give you. And she said, no. I said, I gotta promise you, my lady, that would not be the answer if you understood what was happening. So we talked, and I painted a picture of this great lover. Not as good as her husband, though, because we all know he's number one, but number two. And he could easily be in love with you too, because she's a special lady, and she must be. She got number one, right? Well, obviously she got disgusted with me, and that's okay. Sometimes I'm out of bounds. I try to temper that. We're talking about stuff that's old. But nonetheless, it doesn't change the validity of what I was talking about. There are some things that you deserve to do for yourself. Not that you need to do it, not that it's compulsory, not that you won't live if you don't do it. But if you do it, and do it right, you know, don't be shoddy, do it right. If you do it right, whew, whole new doors open up for you. This notion of unconditional love becomes a possibility. You know, I keep telling you, what you need to try to do is retrain yourself to love everything unconditionally. Doesn't mean you aren't going to deal with the trash or crime or anything else, but just accept it as God's put it in front of you so you could learn something. Nothing is here for any purpose other than to teach you something, and if you understand the rules of the game, to reward you for your participation in the game, in the play. So the more you come, you see, we think that our minds are in charge, especially when it comes to sex. That's so far from true, it's unbelievable. Women have involuntary muscular responses when they're sexually stimulated. Women are sexually stimulated by guys who radiate, and girls, who radiate a high sexual energy. And the more energy that person radiates, the more attention it will draw. It's an irrefutable thing. And you see it sometime in a phenomenon that I call shake a tail feather. So I'll give you an example. I'm in a car dealership one time, and I'm talking to a couple of guys. I had actually worked there one time. So I was there, I stopped in, just chit-chatting, and when I walked in, there was a striking young woman. This is a long time ago, I'm older now. But, we locked eyes, and you could see there was chemistry right away. So she gets up from her desk and walks through us so she could kind of get up close to, I live to be 1,000, I'll never forget this. Just kind of comes by and just brushes me lightly and walks over to a file cabinet, pulls the drawer open, and bends forward at the waist to where what we're seeing are, the crown of her ass like this. And she goes into shake a tail feather. And that whole area around the genitals quivered. Every time I think of it, I can see it like it was right now. I've experienced that several times. It's not, or maybe it is more pretty, naked. Now that I think about it, I've actually seen that a few times. But this is an involuntary. See, we think we're so sophisticated, but all of those developed skills that were used for survival, that were developed when we were really, really primitive entities, are no different, just curtailed, because nobody wants anybody to notice you're doing a shake a tail feather at somebody. But look in nature, birds, look at birds. Those babies are shaking a tail feather all the time. And what's it for? To attract lovers. These are nuances. These are things that, I'm telling you, some guys could be looking at and wouldn't see it. And girls too, the stuff is going, girls, I'm not sure what the right word is. You have more layers, maybe that's the right way to say it. Girls have catty things that go on. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but I think you understand, that are not as typical among men. And if it's an active, high energy group, well, all of those activities go up. Competition starts happening. Who's the prettiest? Who's the sexiest? Who's the best lay? It's crazy what people do to qualify for those things. So my recommendation to you is just be ready. Be strong, be physically fit, have a great attitude, do everything you can to help other people. And every now and then, one of those wonders of the world will come by you. Be a little bit courageous, but be tasteful. You're entitled to pursue your interests. But if you approach someone with energies wanting to be with them, you should be most respectful. Give them as much room as you possibly can to get your message over without making them feel like they're backed into a corner. Back to Jesus. Like I say, I bounce. We'll come back to that some other time. I told you that when I was a little kid, I asked my grandmother what the story was about Jesus. And she told me that, that's where they crucified him and he died for our sins. And I told you my little kid reaction to that was, that's fucking nonsense. How the hell could a son of God have to die for our sins? And that statement right there, and I was raised Catholic, I'm telling you, they're telling us all that all the time. Jesus Christ died for our sins. Then why are we still so afraid of sins? I mean, let's take the liturgy as is. Jesus Christ, Son of God, crucified by the local contemporary bad guys, dies on a cross, and in that shedding of blood dissolves the concept of sin. He died for our sins. In my mind, if the Son of God dies for something, it's done. No more work has to be done on it. Well, if that's the case, then everything that religions are about, the Christian religions anyhow, starts to shift. See, it doesn't mean he wasn't a Buddha. It doesn't mean he wasn't a master teacher. It doesn't mean he wasn't crucified. You have to take the things that are so prominent, so dominant in the recorded history of it by all the means. Most of the Christian writers were writing at least a couple of lifetimes after the Christ was alive. So all the contemporary stuff was word of mouth that had come down from the century previous when he was actually around. And because they were as challenged as they were in the beginning, like all religions are when they start to formulate, not a lot of people got the word, but enough, right? Because I think I shared with you, Christianity is the largest religion in the world, and Catholicism is the dominant religion in Christianity. So, and those are the guys who have got the lineage they claim back to St. Peter. On this rock I build my church. So this magnificent Buddha, Jesus Christ, Son of God, absolutely. All the Buddhas are Son of God. You're sons of God, daughters of God. I'm a son of God. What you do with it is the thing that differentiates you. Jesus decided to go for the big kahuna, save the world. Because of where he was, he had only one thing that he could do. Gotta try and put your mind back where Jesus was. You're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. There's no roads, there's no transportation. If you want to go 100 miles, you're going to have to allow several days. And if you don't have an animal to help you, it's going to be a long, hard journey on foot, which is almost how everybody got around back then. But the ultimate sacrifice, martyrdom. Christ was martyred. The crucifixion is an act of martyring. The fact that he was the big guy and all the wonder of Christianity was derived from him and keyed upon that act, and the ascension. The ascension is the thing that, and that's a belief, right? The ascension is the thing that kind of legitimizes that he's not just another Buddha. So here's this Buddha, new guy Buddha, 2020 Buddha, that's telling you back when he was 10 years old, he had 7 Sundays of visions across from the crucifix of the Christ in St. John of God's Catholic Church. And as I'm now approaching my 78th year, I'm beginning to remember more and more of what was passed to me during that exchange of light. So I'm going to share this with you, with the understanding that it's probably going to irritate a lot of you, and I'm really sorry for that. But the truth, the problem is, truth is kind of self-evident. You start opening yourself to the things I'm sharing with you, and it'll just make sense. I used to walk the Stations of the Cross. I'm pretty sure my mind tells me it was 14. These were around the perimeter of our church, and they were 14 scenes that depicted various places along Christ's journey from the time they strapped the cross to him, or maybe it's from the time he surrendered by Judas up to the point of the crucifixion. They're very powerful. Anything that has that ability to draw you back to an unbelievable time in history is going to be very powerful, because you know about that. Intrinsically, your whole being knows about this stuff. This kind of stuff's been going on since forever and everywhere, not just here. We're going UFO crazy here in the United States. Everybody's going, oh, do we have aliens? Sure we have aliens. Why aren't they here yet? Because you're not ready. Why am I here? Make you ready. But as soon as we get enlightened, they're going to come. And they're watching us so intensely now because they know that we're going to get enlightened real soon. I mean, you can't believe how soon it could be. Done right, we could get a rally. It could be a rally of 1 million people. We'll get the 1 million that we need. And it'll just go out. Remember, once we hit that magic number, what do I want to call it? I can't find the right word. The burst of energy that's going to radiate from that will vibrate throughout the planet, and everyone who's touched by it, which will be everybody, will become aware. And that's the beginning stage of enlightenment, when you become aware. Once you become aware, and then you start becoming more aware, you start learning. You find yourself being tutored all the time. The universe giving you gifts of knowledge. You go to bed one night, you wake up, you know 700 things you didn't know yesterday. And intimately. So for you, oh my God, the future is so bright. That's one of the things I'm excited about. Here, I'll tell you how it's going to finish. You and me, We're going to help everybody on this rock become aware, and a time will come when we achieve that notion of the enlightenment of the species. Remember, 100th monkey? Enlightenment of the species. The second that solidifies, you guys collectively will realize that it's this infusion of energy that I'm providing that stimulated that to the point to where it could happen. Remember, get enough people together, boom, that's what we're doing. We're getting enough people together. So some of you have watched, this might be your first tape, okay? Go back and watch the other tapes. There's 40 tapes out there. And what you'll see is a building of a set of energy that's going to literally force you to say, all right, let me see what the hell is going on here. And the second you do that, the world opens up to you. God opens up to you. And your sense of the devil and all the evil in the world just fades away. Is it gone? No, that's not going to happen overnight.
Continue on to West Duval Street.
So fast that no historian would believe it was possible. I got to get a Burger King. I'm starving. And I'm right here where I'm...
Stay in the left 2 lanes. In 3.8 miles, turn left onto Southwest County Road 252B.
I'm not here, so I got a minute. I got to eat something. Okay. So don't get too distracted, by the way. When I was in that...
Use the left lane to make a U-turn at Southwest St. John Street.
Of wonder, when I was suspended on that back wall below the choir,
make a U-turn, then turn left.
Crucifixion, it was just banging light at me. I began to realize it then. And you ever notice that all the Jesus pictures are, he's lean.
At the light, turn left onto West Duval Street.
Muscle and sinew kind of stuff, you know. That's what yogis are. They're muscle and sinew kind of stuff. Oh, I don't want to interrupt this, but I need to eat. So,
turn left onto Southwest Alachua Avenue, then turn left onto West Duval Street.
It actually wasn't the crucifixion that killed him, because they didn't leave him up there long enough. There was too much pressure to take him down.
At the stop sign, turn left onto West Duval Street.
That did the job, that caused that to happen. My goodness. Yeah. How about a spicy chicken, just a sandwich? No, that's it. Thank you. So, I don't think anybody here. Are you here at the other window? Oh, here she is. Hi.
502.
Oh, guys. I'm gonna stop.